What's up, everyone? Kane here, captain of the Daze Pirates, rocking that Gum Gum Daze on a nice Tuesday here. Coming off a Treasure Cup this past weekend, had a great time, had some great matches. Going to roll through, I think, 5 games for y'all today. Overall, I finished in the top 400 or so. My final record was a 3-4 through 7 rounds before I dropped. Um, I hit 3 Bonnies in this meta, which is just a pain in my ass because Bonney is not like the top 3 represented decks in the meta usually, and like I just can't get away from them. So you got 3 Bonnies games today. I forgot to record against Green Yellow Yamato, which is a great win. I wish I did record. We got a Dofi game, and I think the other one was a ST14 Luffy. So I'm going to go through. I have this all pieced together in double speed, and I'm going to roll through these games. If you want to see the deck list, I'll have it down in the comments. It's the same list. I don't know. I'll share the list. Maybe I'll throw it on screen at the end. Overall, I think this is probably the most refined or most put together list that we can really have in this meta. Um, so I'll have that below. But quite frankly, where I'm going from here is I think the rest of the content or the next content on this channel is going to be focused more on the OP09 meta and matchups. So I am going to start with, Doflamingo and maybe a Lucci as well, even though I know Blackbeard becomes a bigger concern in '09. So I'm going to go through some matchup guides, but it's going to have some 8.5 gameplay and some 9 gameplay. But from today forward, I think I'm just going to focus a little bit more on OP09. It's right around the corner. I personally don't have any more competitive events before OP09 kicks in. So if you really want to see some more OP8.5 or you have some questions for me, hit me in like the RP Luffy discussion or the comments or VB's Discord, or I need to get my own Discord going, quite frankly. But we're going to jump into the games. What couple last things. Thank you yet again for the support. If you aren't subscribed and you're liking the content, please do subscribe. We're trying to hit 500 subscribers by the time OP09 comes out. And with that, I think I'm going to hold off on personally launching the Daze Pirates channel until this channel hits 500 subscribers. That channel is going to be a little bit more variety content, a little bit less consistent, and I just don't want to take my time away from the RP Luffy gang, especially going into our prime time RPO OPO9. So once we hit 500 subscribers, probably the day I hit 500, I'll launch the Daze Pirates, and we'll start doing some more posting there. But right now, it's all RP Luffy all the time as we go into OPO9 here. So yeah, without further ado, let's jump right into the gameplay. So I had a round 1 bye. I guess real quick as I jump in, I had a round 1 no show, so free win, excellent. And then round 2 we hit a bye. Love to see that. I am going to call out in this game where I made very critical errors, quite frankly. Could have gone either way still, but there's 2 places where after this game was over, I kind of had a retrospective of this was a mistake 1, this was mistake 2, and that's made that game nearly unwinnable. So, sorry if it was unfortunate, but yeah, we are up to 2 times speed now. I was doing like 1.5 or 1.7, but now we're just copying VV. Two seems to be good. If you want to see it a little bit slower, please let me know. You might win just by being the only commenter. But I've just been trying to be as time efficient as possible while still getting you guys amazing content. And I don't want to just be filling dead air all day. So yeah, these first 2 turns, searcher time, Nami and Devani. I will say too that this opponent didn't prioritize using his leader effect very early, and I think that makes a big difference in this matchup. Obviously, obviously utilizing your leader ability, but like just taking the slight inefficiencies to deny me value might be worth it in some cases. I did put the 1 on Nami there because I have had someone counter out the 2K before, but now he hits a second Nami. Um, is there volume for this? Oh, I have it muted. My fault, yo. That's just my desktop audio, though, so you should have got my mic volume, no problem. There we go. I can turn it down a little bit. So if you're any clanking too, I am drinking some coffee here this morning. Look here, the swing and the 7. I've had a lot of people that would have swung six at me and prevented me from being able to KO Bonney and swing into life like this.
No trigger. Then I'll be putting in work. Holy shit. I was thinking 5 and 10 on me. Then I'll play it. Sure, did. Then I'll play big over 6. I'll pass.
Here, Hawkins on six, that's fine. You don't really got to worry about the leader effect too much there, I guess. I can't remember what I did here. Do I have a? I think my hand's a little bit awkward at this point because I didn't ramp. We're on seven now. We're just thinking about how we want to pressure Hawkins.
Yeah, sure. No trigger.
That's a 5 on 11 pass.
Okay.
So I took that first swing just because I wanted to see another card. I do remember that.
For, let's see. Yeah. I'll go 6 out later. Seriously, they're too late.
Yeah, I drew that last turn. It said like you showed up too late.
Okay. Gotcha. And then I'll play another baseball.
Rad beam out of an
I'll
8.
pass. Hmm.
Yeah, that's what it was. Is that last turn I rad beamed out of that, which was fine, I think.
Okay. No trigger.
Then I'm debating here, so I guess two things. There's one last turn I red beamed out of the 8 into 6 and then played my new gate. Now, obviously, I don't have red beam in hand because I did use that down on my leader. I was debating challenge that Hawkins or challenge the life. And just looking at it, I said, looking at his hand size, he's probably going to counter out if I swing into Hawkins. If I swing into life, I'm either putting him to one life or taking three cards out of his hand. So that's where we got to prioritize some of the pressure sometimes.
Okay. You got how many now? 7. Okay. He's at 8K, right? Okay. What more where those came from?
Let's see if in the back
Okay.
here,
Hopefully not.
background here, I can pull up my
Uh,
deck list on the sim just to show.
better than ever. And then if I do Cavendish. 1, 2.
Yeah, but Hawkins, Cavendish is pretty tough.
Um,
So basically, from the sequencing of last turn, rad beaming, and then here, if I recall correctly, he's going to swing 8 at me with Bonney, and I'm going to take it. And at that point, I put myself to 1 just because, again, I kind of wanted and needed to see another card and create some more action. All right, that was kind of what I thought. Um, 'Cause, yeah, then he goes 8 with the leader, I think. Mhm.
I'll go 8 out later.
Yep. I think I could have countered out of this. Yeah, that was it. Is I had my second Robin in hand, and I didn't want to counter out because I knew he had a
I'll play
kid.
RP5, and I'll search with the RP5.
Um, but it was just too greedy. I should have just countered out with that 1K there. And
You
then
have 7 in hand or how many?
last turn I probably should have just taken it realistically,
7.
but probably should have taken the 8 into 6 last turn, then used the 1K there. But right, hindsight and all that.
I'll go here. And I'll pass.
So now he gets the Rosie too. So I feel a little bit affirmed in keeping the Robin, but so he has Robin and Rosie, or he has a new Eustace Captain Kidd and Rosie. So again, here I'm debating how I want to attack and how I want to create pressure. I'm wanting to use the Kid attacking or the Newgate attacking effect to KO the baby 5 just to deny value. I haven't seen any Doflamingos yet.
I could call it too. And then when I put KO to 3K last right, 1 second. With 2 non? Or 1 non? Done.
Okay, what I said there. I guess maybe slow it down a little bit better if you're trying to catch commentary from the table a little bit.
And 12 life.
Okay, maybe 5, 12 life. Again, just trying to pressure him down. Ah, now I am recalling. So this is what I decided to do. So we'll start with what I did.
And 12 to life. So worth. Yeah, 8 and 10, right? Well, I'm gonna give you to do this. Or 3 2Ks, I mean.
Yep. Blocked into
1, 2, 3, 4,
2Ks.
5, 6, 7, 8. Yep.
Then I play a queen.
Mm-hmm.
Then I use 4. And I play, well, 2 blockers. No active down. And we rep some cards here.
Go this one, right? Okay. This one?
Surprised my audio
Good
isn't
one.
being picked up
Good
here.
one.
Oh, because my mic was muted. Ew,
How many then?
because my audio isn't going to be output here. Oh man, I think this is the case for all of them.
It sucks. I was planning on using that.
Well,
Bumblebee.
now I know. Again, 2 times speed, you're not catching everything anyways.
I guess tomorrow
Basically,
is
as he kind of plays it out, he goes for a Hody kill here when I'm at a 6K leader.
7 and 10, right? No dawn.
Rest down both my blockers and go for the kill with Cavendish,
2K, right? 6 later.
Hawkins,
Not good. Just making sure.
and the Hody. But what I could have done
If
alternative
it's
to
yellow
what I
green,
did do
if it's all gas in hand. If yellow
is
green beard, yellow green white beard.
I could
I
have
could have fucked that up. Just
swung
lucky.
with Newgate,
Low res, low res
only
both
get
of these.
2 cards out of hand then,
Something gas
play
here, lucky.
Law,
I'll go 8
rip
instead of
2
8.
cards out
I'll
of
go
his
15 instead of
hand,
2.
and then also play the Eustace Captain Kid, making my leader a 7K, 1 blocker, and I have no active
Yep.
Dom, but now when he swings these 8Ks at me, I just have the
I'll go
2K.
8
Right
instead of
there, I
2.
just gave up 2 cards, so that's 2 cards out. So if I was a 7K, it's only a 2K out. And it's a second 8. It's got to be another 2 cards.
You got 3 in hand. I'll go 6 and 2 liter. I'll go 8 and 2 liter.
Yeah,
Alright.
it's tough.
I had the one Hody and the
GG.
one Dofi. You got the Dofi. It was close.
Yeah, that was a real close game. Again, I think the rad beam and then not using the 1K in that sequence, that was just incorrect. I think I take that second life, go to my 8K leader, use that 1K, and just play it out from there. Maybe the case could be made that if I go down to 1 life, he just turns to hyper aggro on me at 8K. But if I'm 8K and he's hyper aggro on me, I have a rad beam and I had a grip. I could play out that turn. Um, and it was also really relatively important that I played the Newgate when I did because I knew he had a Eustace Captain Kid. So yeah, it was just a little bit tough overall. But I do think those 2 misplays are just kind of unforgiving in this deck, especially. I think it's one of the things about this deck that's maybe kind of brushed over or maybe underrated is the individual decisions and sequencing are not as complex as like a BY Luffy, obviously, right? Like some of the hyper, sequencing intense things are going to be a lot more micro hard decisions. But within the game plan and every turn that you play with this deck, you can be extremely punished by quality players, and that's just kind of the risk we run being a 3K life or 3 life leader. I still think it's worth it. I still love the deck, but just that goes to show, right? This isn't a favorite matchup by any means. I may have still lost, but those 2 mistakes made this from maybe 60-40 in my opponent's favor to like 100-0 basically, and you just can't be doing that at a treasure cup level. That's just unacceptable for my personal standards. But that's why we're here. That's why we get better. That's why 09 we're going to be eating. But yeah.
Yeah, it was like, what, 3 turns of just range, pretty much?
I think we did a little post-mortem, and then we're going on to round 2. We got ST14 Luffy. 14? Yeah, 14 Luffy, mono black. This game was all right. Yeah, my audio is going to be gone this whole game. That's okay. I'm talking anyways. You got plenty of me, but um, yeah.
Sure.
I, I think he denied my ramp this game. This game,
I will pass.
I guess you won't hear my commentary back, but me and him ended up just kind of chuckling through a decent amount of this game.
Wasn't into my leader. I will use
Because
a T-bone
like he just top decked the perfect piece like 3 or 4 times,
Sure.
and it was just brutal.
Draw.
I think it was 3 times that he like audibly drew a card and laughed.
What do I do here? Tap 4. I'll play Kuzan. Draw. I'll pass.
Doing what we want to do here.
6. Helmet. Yeah. I use a helmet to counter it. Okay. I
Oh
will use
yeah, I
2.
was decided to go for 3 6s instead of or 6 6 or 5 6 7 rather. Instead
Draw.
of
Sure.
going 7 9, I just wanted to rip away his hand a little bit more. And I think,
I'll pay
I
what?
mean, realistically, the end game would have been the
Never draw.
same
I'll draw
if
card.
I just kind of to go back to this real quick. He gave me a 2 and a 1. So if I go 7 and then 9, he probably just gives me a or it takes like a 2 and a 1 on this one and then takes the 9. So the end state is the exact same. But I was just trying to see if I could rip a little bit more cards out of his hand or hit in a little bit early because this deck can kind of brick early before it gets like those Jack and Sabos to let it kind of filter out its hand. It can kind of brick a little bit early game.
I'll go 5 into 0. And minus the Nami, I guess, whatever, it doesn't matter. Go 5 into Nami. I'll pay 5. I'll play Sabo. And draw 2, ditch 2. Draw 2. Ditch 1,000 Sunny, because I don't need that anymore. And I will put a Rebecca in trash. And then pass.
This sequencing of going like Kuzan into Sabo is such a pain in my ass.
Yes. No need. T-Bone Helmet goes to 1,000 Sunny and Rebecca, correct?
Yeah, I just
Draw
asked him
1.
like, is your graveyard still this? And just named every card in his graveyard.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Yep.
I think I was debating Newgate Roost Kid there.
I'm gonna counter out. Not really. Oh, I'll block. And then give you 2/2Ks, 2 zeros.
That was the other thing too. Is I was just trying to swing as hard as possible into
Okay.
Kuzan. Actually, I think that was why I decided to go for the kid. Was that
Mm-hmm.
if the Kuzan lives, neither one very likely lives. Quite frankly, he can just Kuzan Sanji, right?
And another Kuzan.
Um,
Draw.
but
Uh, Eustace Kid is
I just
very
want to
likely.
swing 9 and get as much out of him,
I'll
or
minus
get rid of
Eustace.
the Sao if nothing else.
Pay 1. And pay 6
But
to Eustace. I'll pay 3 for Brook and KO Eustace.
yeah, he top decked
And
the
I'll pass.
Brook there. I think is what he did. He played the Kuzan and then drew the
Yeah.
Brook
We got
with
there.
just the perfect amount left. Yeah, that was it. He had 8 down,
Kuzan.
4 down to play Kuzan. That allowed him to draw the Brook. Now he has
Good
Ice
card.
Age and removal.
I know. I can KO 9s right now. It's great.
And now this is just brutal. I need a Rayleigh. I need a Rayleigh to go -3. Shit, what would I do?
Sure.
Oh yeah, I sent him running
Minus
Gear
3.
5 because it was the threat I had. Actually, that was the thing I was debating here. Was yep. I should have took a little bit better notes. I was being a little bit cocky and quick on Saturday. I like these treasure cups. So I get to hop between rounds. It's amazing. But I should take a little bit better notes. I played the Gear 5 here because I wanted to pressure these Kuzans more effectively, and I just had no other way to do it. I had a Newgate in hand, but literally, if I play a Newgate and swing, there's 0% chance of Newgate living next turn. I swing AK into Kuzan, he blocks the Sabo, and done. That's it. So he's down to 2 cards in hand, and now I'm looking to kind of flip the momentum and push ahead on card advantage.
70 Kuzan's fine. Yep.
So I think if I just play Newgate there's no reason for him not to just protect the Kuzan and KO at the next turn. I mean, I guess actually no, he had he ends up having it all this whole game. Yeah, I mean, just kind of the way it played out. He was low on cards, kind of was doing everything I could to deny him,
All right, here we go.
and he was just ripping.
Pretty helpful. I'm just top decking. It's just radiance. I love it.
Yeah, I think he even just said there I top decked another great
4,
thing.
5.
I think he's debating.
Damage.
I think he already has a Robin in hand, and he just drew the Ice Age here, or maybe that was a turn later. But that sequence is pretty close to what happens.
Yeah, I guess we do that. That lets me. All right, so we'll 5 lead. We'll -4 on Luffy. 4 at lead, -1 on Luffy. Put it down on the leader. Sanji KO Luffy.
Okay, now the Sanji here. So so it was later that he drew the Robin, but yeah. Even there too, just -5 and the Sanji is brutal.
A4 with Rebecca. Oh,
And then Rebecca.
That's always the question, right?
Yeah. His life is tough. I think he picks up the Sabo here.
I bought a box for $80 and I coupled that Rebecca because the set drops so hard.
Oh yeah, I was telling them my first like 4 packs of One Piece was OP8.5, and I pulled that Rebecca from GameStop. They had like 3 or 4 packs of OP8.5. It was the very first packs that I opened of the game. And I said, I don't know if this card's good or she's just got big titties, but it's worth some money. And it's both. She's got big titties and it's expensive. So it's a good card rather. But yeah, I was kind of joking about waifu tax when I first got in the game, not even knowing how real it was. And then I ended up selling it to someone in Discord, and like the funniest thing in the world to me was I go to sell it, or I mentioned like, hey, anyone interested in this? And the first person that replies and buys it, their Discord name is basic, just simp. That's it. And I was like, that's fucking hilarious. I should have given him a discount for it.
I'm just gonna keep him.
But I didn't know what, like, really how far I was going to take the game or what I was going to be doing. So what I did with him is I just traded for cash and a playset of normal Rebecca's. So then I had a full playset of the base art and like $140 to go buy a box with. So it was nice, something like that. I think she was 160 at the time. That sounds right.
I like your sleeves. Sure.
There's that Newgate I was debating and go about a few turns ago.
Luck.
Yeah, this Kuzan and Brook just being on board just makes this game so hard for me.
It's crazy. Put down here. Can I kill him right now? 4 brings him to 5. -3 brings him to 2. -1 brings him to 1. Okay. 5 at Mr. 2, and then I'll minus on the Newgate. Yes. We'll go 4 at lead and then minus on the Newgate. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 for Gecko We will Rebecca and Helmeppo.
Yeah, then he had Gecko too.
Rebecca Helmeppo first onto Newgate, and then Rebecca grab Brook, play Brook, KO Newgate. And then you are
The whole like board replacing itself to get the Brook back in the trash, just so fucking brutal. Like, don't get me wrong, it'd be way worse if Dofi could have more than 5 characters, but fuck. Yeah, I'm kind of debating. I'm gonna kind of shuffle through here next turn or two because I end up trying to debate quite a bit of how can I sequence this out. Play with Nami, trashing her card, drawing 2. But yeah, I'm just out. I just ran out of threats, and he's got a board, so this is what we're doing.
Okay.
Swinging to Kuzan because he's low on cards, just trying to get that minus off the board. Honestly, my threats right now are so low that. Yeah. Then there's the Robin. He top decked an Ice Age, but already had the Robin.
We'll go 7 at life, pop the Mr. 2. And then you're gonna block this, right? Life. And pass. And bring joy. It is because They're using that or playing a Robin, right? It is because I have stage out, so it's an 8, and it makes me happy. My
They were talking about how a lot of people are off stage, so being able to have the Robin as an 8.
Robin beard, sure.
Oh, wait.
Yep.
He had Gecko
Oh,
anyways,
nice.
didn't
No.
matter.
All right. Is it?
But now I think I just die as an AK leader here because
The
I think
minus
I have
5
4
on
bricks in hand.
the new game. Sure.
1 2K and 3 bricks was what I had then.
I'll pay one. I Sage the new game. 8K at lead and KO new game.
I think I had to take the AK and I die.
Yeah, so it's gonna be 8, 8, and then 9.
Oh no, that was the thing is I did have a way out, but he took it effectively. That was the thing too. Was actually this is where your sequencing is incredibly important.
12. Then we'll see.
Because actually, now that I'm recalling that I did have a rad beam here. I'm thinking of a different game. Should have took a little bit better notes. Like I said, sorry guys. But the 8 8 12 ended up being correct because I had a 1. Yeah, I was thinking of a different game. Then 2. Or then there's my rad beam.
Yep.
And if he just put that down on the gecko, I counter out. But I don't even think I win the next turn.
My life was 10 drop Kuzan and a non-blocker.
I have a dragon.
Oh,
Well, shoot. Yeah, Tuesday. If you went 12 into me and was rested on 6K, I would have had a Robin and a. So I would have needed Robin to hit now. Yeah, that was out. I was cooked regardless. But I could have lived one more turn and he fucked up. All right, on to game 3. This one's not the most favorite. He has like a. I don't know really. I probably could have managed this a little bit better, but I was having a hard time kind of juggling it all. Because he ends up having. He has like one in for his computer and I think it was his camera and his audio were just separate or something like that. Yeah, it was that. And I was confused because when I got in here, I thought there was 2 people. I was like,
Oh, that's clutch, yeah. That sucks. In between round 1 and 2, my internet went out, and I was like, oh my god, no. All right. E2,
Yeah, we are talking about how like being concerned about setting up and people being able to see everything, and how last week my Discord just gave out round 1, and I thought I was just going to lose.
Rest 1, maybe 5, and I'll pass. Yeah.
So I was trying to like bounce back and forth between these, but it was just hard. Because I can see my board, but I need you guys to see my board.
Okay, I just rest the Nami, and I'll take it. No trick.
All right, so yeah, next time I need to make sure my OBS mic is unmuted when I'm recording these. I didn't think about that. Glad I noticed it when I started this morning. I did start to record a take and immediately realized my mic was muted, so could have been an hour in. That would have been a shame.
Maybe 5. I should have first. 6 alive. Oh yeah, no, yeah, sorry, I'm sorry. I totally forgot. Alright, yeah, there's 85 ability. 1, 2, 3. I will just take 2K 85. And I will pass. Okay.
Yeah, this was another game without ramp, and the Bonney is joyous.
Maybe 5. We'll take 2K 85. Rest 1 for Bonney. Rest Bonney.
Yeah, there's all these searches and card selection early is not looking good when we're not ramping.
Damage, yeah, sorry. And I will just swing 8 into left. I'll pass. I do not know. Mhm.
7 into baby 5, just trying to stop him from grabbing Doflamingos. Maybe this late in the game,
Let's see.
it's time to maybe that's what maybe I need to lock down here is in the mid to late game, we just gotta stop going for these searchers
Rosinante
because
freeze.
we can't afford to take the swings there. And if they're gonna
Yeah, so we just
spend the
let them
time
start
searching,
swinging
then they're
until
not spending that
it depends
down
on
on
what free you
attacking,
release the Bonney, but it's usually
resting our
releasing.
leader, or playing a Doflamingo. Yes, hypothetically, if they have Cavendish, a searcher, and then
Yeah,
play Doflamingo, they could activate two
uh,
and search and
Cavendish.
have one open.
We got two back.
But
Let's see.
that's a lot, and they can only do that so many
OP
times.
at 7, correct? Yeah.
Um, Especially if their board is gonna start filling up potentially too. So like even that last turn, that 7K swing may have just been better placed in life. But it's also just a hard dynamic because like if he doesn't counter out, maybe I get two cards out of hand, or he draws a card. Even if I take the life, he's now got like a jillion cards in hand, and still the searcher, and still yada yada.
This one.
Yeah, I'm like
2, 3,
debating here.
4,
Like,
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
do I swing into Bonney? Do I go face? Like, what are we doing?
For sure. That sounds good. And
So
then
he
just
has
reroll
like
leader.
a bajillion cards in hand. I did prioritize the Bonney. But again, maybe that 8 should have just gone at face.
Okay.
That's how a 7K swing and an 8K swing that we didn't commit to face. Man, I like trashed this day, didn't I?
And you're at 9, right? Alrighty.
I may have been a tiny tilted by this round of then running into my second Bonney and
It's a freeze.
after that last roll.
Let's just go.
Yeah, the Bonney here.
Uh, 9 at life. Get you back.
Carrot freezing the kid. And being able to pressure me with 9. It's crazy.
Tarzan?
He also told me out of the fact that was his one of Rosinante, so that's cool.
Just go. 9 life. Then just delete baby 5. And then there's baby 5. I'll take the 0 class event. And I will pass. Protects actives. Yeah, exactly 5 and actives only. Like that, yeah. So like not Cavendish is rested, so
Now I'm in a similar spot where I'm debating how or if I want to utilize Newgate's effect and pop in that baby
2,
5.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Like that might be more worth it.
Yeah.
I don't think I don't think that logic or thought is flawed. Um, but the 7 and 8K swings going into the searchers is probably questionable. I've just had a package delivered, it looks like.
Yes.
So then I think I end up going 12 into Rose and Nate and KO the baby 5.
Arrested leader at 12. Okay, so I will 0 cost event into the Cavendish, and then I will give you a 2K.
Yep. 3 cards for the Rosinante. That's kind of what we're looking for.
Mm.
Here's the dragon.
Okay. I'll give you 2 2Ks.
See, Rayleigh would have just been better there.
Yes, 5 in hand.
I don't know.
Alrighty.
We keep re-adding the dragons to try and help the Lucci and Black matchup. Like, I don't know.
Alrighty.
It's a little bit simpler next set with 9 cost Luffy, in my opinion.
And then just swing 6. I will swing just 7, and then 8. And I'll pass.
Yeah, the Dofi here. Yeah, I don't know that those swings going into face or going into the searchers solely lost me the game. See, even if I did take those two life, he still has two life left.
Mm-hmm.
And that's assuming he didn't counter out of anything. That's where maybe when this board is the way it is,
Alright, zero cost.
it should have just been all face all the time, trying to play their board control game with their. It's worse than Dofi, right? I tell you not to swing into Dofi's 5Ks, but then I'm spending time swinging into 6 and 8s that my opponent has.
Swing 10 in life.
I mean, I did whittle his hand down that last turn, which was kind of my hope. Was like, if I rip your hand down and you don't just fucking chain Doflamingos together,
3 or 2.
then I'm in decent shape to be able to press through.
Nice.
But not quite the way it panned out for me.
10. Just go 6. Oh, yeah, you're at. Yeah, you're at 8. Hmm.
The gross thing here with Cavendish and the way he works is like he gets to use the because he's attaching all of his Don here. He gets to use two Don to make a Rosinante blocker and then restand that Don to swing into me. Great sequencing by my opponent there.
2.
Like they're trying to kill me anyways, but like they lose absolutely nothing by playing out this Rosinante. I end up telling him to shift it over a little bit.
Oh, sorry. I will go over. Yeah, it's a baby rose, nothing. And I just will swing 9 into life. Okay. Oh, so actually 10 into life. Sorry. Let's get these two back. Yeah. 2, 2, 2, yeah, 10.
Yeah, like he ends up going 10 here instead of 9. But if he so actually I guess because he still wanted to leave his lead effect up.
Shit. Alright. Oh, you were bluffing with this.
Yeah.
I thought you were, so you're bluffing with the one down.
Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah,
GG.
yeah.
Well played by
Good.
my opponent. That 10, but again, what I was starting to say is if he goes 9, I counter that. Then if he goes 8 on lead, he just kills me. Um, and I literally didn't even get him, so crazy.
If he came, well, I had it in my hand, but the turn you called him, I was thinking about.
Yeah. So that's I think this was my game 3, round 4. Now we finally get Dofi, so what we've been looking for. We've been looking for. I almost forgot to record. It's not what we're looking for.
No trigger.
No ramp is not what we're looking for.
Sorry. Oh, thanks, bro. My girl pulled it, so I stole it.
Oh yeah, he was saying I was going to compliment to the gold Don. He said his girl pulled it and he stole it from her.
3. I will look. I will.
I ended up telling him too here is that like I could kind of see the cards that he was rearranging. That's what I'm saying here is like, hey, you might want to just try and keep it more vertical. Like, not the end of the world. We're kind of 1-3 at this point, but like, I think I even said that. I was like, if we were, 3-0 here, I honestly may not have said anything, maybe whether you think I should or not. Um, if we're in round 5 and I'm 4-0 and you're showing me your hand on camera, it's pretty impressive you made it to round 5, I guess. I guess what could have been happening, or I hope wasn't happening to him, is his opponents were just seeing his hand the last 3 rounds and were kind of being scummy about it. Maybe that's why he was on the lower end of the bracket, anyways. Now that I think about it, but yeah, I was like, we're not in complete garbage time, but I don't want to. Yeah, queen for no effect on 5 is never what we want to be doing. I might just cut the dragons and make them brulees. I'm not gonna lie to you. This dragon hasn't been that great. I was thinking about cutting 1/1 into like a jet gatling and a third Rayleigh, but it might just be two brulees. It's more ramp, more blockers.
I'm not mad at you, bro. Not mad at all. Okay.
I think my
I'm not mad at you, bro. Not mad at all.
yeah, my wife brought breakfast over the door, but I had the office locked and I'm in these games just to make sure nothing weird happens. Um, I makes it mostly I just don't want her to accidentally enter the frame, but um, she's like, "Oh, breakfast is outside the door." He's like, "Where's my girl with breakfast?" What I didn't tell him is that I made the breakfast. No, I'm proudly the cook, and nothing against my wife. I just it's always been a passion of mine. I love to cook. It's if family life was a little bit better working in a restaurant, I'd probably just be a full time chef. I'm not gonna lie to you. But I just don't want to give up my dinners and weekends when I want that to be family time in the long run. But I genuinely love cooking and all that. But it was just hilarious. I didn't tell him that my girl was eating the breakfast I made her, but
Eight. Thank you. You the best.
oh, okay, that was a little bit early.
Where's my lady working breakfast outside?
I thought that was his last. What was what he saying last turn? But yeah.
Yep.
So you were going for law on 7.
Okay.
And we're doing law before we attack because we want to swing for 8 into Boa or into his leader. And if he blocks with Boa, he'd give us 2 cards for that anyways. So now we took out a 2K and a 1K, which could have been what he used to counter, right? And now we are going to pressure further, if I recall correctly. Okay, I do just go 7. Did I want? I think I had maybe a Nami and a red beam.
I will block. 2K.
Okay, maybe that's why I did go 7 because I wanted to. Well, no, didn't really matter. Oh no. Okay, so this is actually a very important thing. I did not ramp, but I ended up playing out this entire game using Queen as a beat stick, and this ended up becoming extremely important down the stretch because he when Queen's on board, yes, he's a blocker, but I don't know if he's on grab blades or not. I don't know anything if he's swinging it hyper aggressively. Just like how you see a decent amount of Bodofi players start swinging with their boas, it's more of a just because they're so far ahead and their deck's so fucking busted. But like this turn here is because I'm a 6K leader anyways. So if you're gonna poke me with 6K, I'm not gonna want to block it with my queen anyways. Or now I have this law blocker the other deal with. Yes, you could law it back to my hand, but then that brings up different concerns for you. So yes, using this queen as a beat stick, I think single-handedly won me this game down the stretch.
Oh, where's 4? We'll play Echo Mario. I'll take back Boa. I'll rest another 4. I'll play Boa. Check up.
I did swing the 8 into the boa. After like turn 3, I'm gonna say I don't unless swinging into a 6K body, even if it's a Weevil, is not good for you. You're making them into a RP Luffy leader by swinging into their Weevil and giving them full agency into whether or not they protect that or not. And the way that their deck works, they usually don't even need to protect it. They can start Gecko in, Weevil, so much shit. So after like turn 3, I think is my cutoff. I am almost never swinging into anything besides a boa. And even boa, I might just swing past depending on what I have in my hand. If I have a Razy the next turn or Usohachi or whatever, I might just push past. But the only time and the only reason I'm swinging into that boa or that board at this point, from basically this point forward, is because it's a boa blocker that I want to remove. So I think we're just at a point of efficiency within this game that like we just aren't afforded that type of combat where we allow our opponent to dictate to us how they're going to counter, what they're going to protect, and so on. Like if you swing into their Weevil and they let it go, it might be because they just have another Jinbei Weevil in hand, you know? Oh yeah, and then he did yeah, that was the thing too. It's like I did see catch that he was about to draw 5 cards with Kaido. Again, if we were 3-0, I may have just called a judge call just to have it on record. Maybe I still should have made a judge call, but I saw it, I caught it, it was fine, and I think that's the correct resolution. He put the right card back on top, even. So I think that's what a judge would have done, anyways. But again, if I was, oh yeah, we lost him twice. I forgot. Um, but yeah, if we're 4-0, I might be calling a judge just to be sure it's on record, in the later rounds for somebody else. But at this point, we're 0-3. I'm not that concerned about our 1-3. It is what it is, in my opinion. But I guess comment if you think I should have called the judge immediately. So now he's got a Kaido, and I'm sitting here sweating bullets, thinking about how bad would a gravity blade raging tiger be if I start swinging out here. So we say 7, give me 2 cards. And then I want, so if I recall correctly, he's down to 3 life here. And I think maybe he was afraid of me lawing him again. I meant to ask him because I wasn't sure I was really understanding here, but I think if I recall correctly, maybe it was the next swing, but one of these swings he like counters and then takes the hit. Yeah. So he counters with the pudding and then takes the hit. And I'm thinking, is he just afraid of a third law? Right? That'd be the only thing he's playing. I meant to ask him after the game, but I kind of forgot. Um, but I was like, is he playing around like another law because he wants to protect something in his hand? That's the only thing I could think of in the moment. I'm not remember when I was setting up here. We already lawed. We got our Don back. We sung 778, and then we're gonna put. Oh, yes. Sorry, yeah, I should have took the notes. All right, next time I promise I'll take notes better, so I don't have to remember this stuff during. This plan that I'm kind of working through in my head is: do I develop a Mister Two as a potential threat going into the next turn? Obviously, if I get rid of that 1K and then he grav blades both my blockers, I might cry real tears. Like that would have just blown me out. Afterwards, I did end up talking to him, and he's not on. See, like pitches like he does it twice there, and I was like, I'm not understanding why or what. So then my decision here is I'm wrestling with how likely is it that I play my Mister Two, he grab blades both my blockers, and then I just lose. It feels pretty likely, honestly. Definitely didn't think he was on 0 grab blades. I know some people are making that decision, and I guess maybe Kaido kind of contests that top end in a way. But I was really just sitting here like, okay, what sequence of attacks do I lose to if he grab blades both my blockers? And I'm deciding that having an extra 12k attacker will be helpful or necessary. It may not have been. Actually, I think the way I won, it wouldn't have been. Like it wasn't the decision maker per se. But I was just kind of just wanting to hard secure a win the following turn. With a Kaido on board, I don't want this game to go too many more turns, quite frankly. I did just use a Rayleigh to -3 a Kaido the other day. That felt pretty good. Didn't KO him, but just to have him be a 9. So I had some other counter, but I was pretty concerned about a grappling.
Let's see. I think I'm cooked though. But if I do what I really want to do in my heart, then I'm definitely cooked.
Sorry.
2, 3, 4. Okay, I'll put 4. I'll go 2. Range, my life. These are all poops.
Bola blocker.
So, oh yeah, I have to put back down. Place the top or bottom. Yeah, so I'll just put these at the bottom.
Size of bottom those.
I'll put it on Dofi. Next on that. I'll go 6 into lead. Crop. Okay. Okay. I'll go 6 again. Yep.
I had no Nami blocker. Was that out of life or could I have played that?
Oh, salty. Walrus. Two. I'll play femur. Five, six.
Yeah, I was trying to play around Perfume Femur.
And I'll go Penance Rayleigh. Four.
He went unblockable into Rayleigh.
Okay.
And yeah, I Rad Beam to protect it, just to try and lock it up.
Four.
I think I got Gear 5 in here, maybe. Nah, maybe not, 'cause I think I'd start throwing down out immediately. Start with 7. Give me 2 cards.
I will not give you a two because that isn't now. Yeah, to be honest. Yeah, blocker.
And yeah, once he blocks, I kind of know that I'm basically good to go. Give me 3 cards or take this life,
Yeah. Okay. Nine.
and put the rest on our 12K Bond Clay. So here, we probably just win either way. Maybe I didn't need the Bond Clay, but I was just trying to
I opened
play
up with
tough around it.
Sully.
Yeah, he got the double
I think
Kaido
it's
opener, which is
like
pretty
what
ballsy.
is going on?
But he was saying his brother's playing the same list as him. They're on 4 Kaidos, and his brother was like undefeated at this point. So I mean, he even says he thinks it's not the list; it's it's a him problem. I think is what he said.
Yeah, that's just the way it is.
But yeah, it just was I was real concerned about that grab blade play. Alrighty, I think this is gonna be our last round. Yeah, one more Bonney,
What is going on?
and I almost forget to record it all together.
Be honest.
I
Yeah,
think
that
that
was
was when
crazy.
I realized that I had forgot to record the Green Yellow Yamato game, which I wish I did. That was such a good game. That'd have been pretty sweet. Um, but yeah, really, these events are great because it gets me more subscribers. Only a little bit joking, but like these regionals and things, I always end up promoting the channel, and the number goes up throughout the day. So
Oh, no,
we're never a
try after
true
that.
we're never a true loser at these events, I guess.
Yeah. 6,000 at least.
Yep, Cavendish into
1, 2,
6,000.
3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, this game ends up being
I thought the wall hit 7 more, right?
pretty
Oh, is that the
close.
Robin? If we didn't make the screen bigger. Here we go. Oh, I can see cards. Oh, okay. I like that Don, by the way.
His curve ends up being pretty gross. And did I not ramp again this game? Fuck, am I being proven wrong in real
Did the
time?
first one on me. And delete. I
I think it's
will
gotta have counter
do
though. I think it's gonna be brulees. I might end 8.5 on brulees.
next round. So,
Realistically, with 09 though, like we have an actual mid game to play.
and then a 4
Like instead of ramp card number 4 or ramp option number 3, um, Yasop and Yasop being a 5 drop, Ben Beckman and Sanji being 7 drops. And I think with this new, especially if you're playing Sanji and 9 cost Luffy, I really want to work in 5 cost Kid again. I think being able to play a 5 cost Kid on curve is also just going to be a little bit more effective um, in with that curve and with that option than just going straight ramp. But we'll see.
Sanji. So you see 6 cards in hand, and I will enter.
Should comment it on his shirt. That's an epic old school Scooby Doo shirt. If you're seeing this, nice shirt. Third Bonney player.
Alright, I'm gonna block that and then do a 2-pick counter. And I'll draw. Totally didn't forget to use my leader ability there. Yeah. So
Yeah,
Crystal playoffs. I've gone for carrot, not
don't mind me
directly
messing with
swing
the vape a
25.
little bit.
Swing 8K as leader with Cavendish and restand 2 Don. Oh, yes, he doesn't power leader. Oof. Good thing I did that. Totally find that out. 8K at lead. 5 cards in. Or, even better. I'll pass. I'll show them. Cavendish will pay the Don, that's the leader. Daze with 9 open, right?
I think it
Oh,
went,
Hawkins.
yeah, I went 11 into Cavendish so that if he did decide to block, it would be 3 cards instead of just two 2Ks. I really just want to make sure that one of those two was leaving the board that turn. And I think my plan was to kid after anyways. Actually, no. I do remember this. I'm debating how I want to swing into Cavendish with Nami.
8 into Cavendish. Oof. We got that. You got her. You got him. That's turn. Alright.
Yeah, so that was
Gotcha.
kind of the play there. I think that was fine. I was also just
Swing
trying to leave
4,000
some
at five.
Don open on the off chance that like he Hodies or some shit the next turn.
Swing 6,000 at lead. Alright. 9 Don to play out to the 9 Flash Shanks and KO the Whitebeard.
And I think I took that one too, just kind of on
Daze.
principle of
Nice.
wanting
Cool.
to
I'm
see
playing around with the
action.
numbers of it, so I'm not sure how many they'll pass to you.
Shanks on Kerr, Shanks on 9 is good. Being able to just pop whatever
I
is
did
so
play the
good.
Don, but it could help. Do a 10 cost Luffy, I guess, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, at this point, I mean, I'm basically eliminated from prizing, and I'm just kind of playing for fun more or less, and I just can't get away from my worst matchup, so I'm pretty exhausted on the day. You guys may have noticed that I cleaned up the area around me since last week.
It's fun right now for both of us, so. No. There he is.
Yeah, we do just send gear 5, because I think it was basically my only threat.
Luffy can't attack right now, right? Alright. Okay.
I had the Sanji in hand, I think was what I was going for here. Hmm. So like either way, you're going to, rest my shit. So I'm not gonna be able to swing with the leader either way. Again, maybe even at this point. No.
Well, the carrot, alright, I'll use mine.
If
Either way,
he's ripping
either way,
at me, I
Luffy's on
still
carrot.
just lose quicker.
Okay. I'll go draw. Alright. I was waiting 11 at lead. Nice. What's that leave? 3 cards in hand? 4. And on the Doflamingo to freeze both Luffies and pass.
So then like this turn I'm debating whether I want to swing with Sanji or just develop another blocker.
Okay. Got up there pretty quick. Yeesh.
And quite frankly, I think if I just leave Shanks on board, I have nearly no way to win through a Hody. If I leave Shanks on board and he plays Hody or really
Wait, I don't
just
think I saw second with
plays what he has on
Very
board,
close
he
with
can
Crystal.
probably just kill me. I think I was debating like playing a queen.
How many? Yep, sorry. Got it. Okay. Draw. One down, 4 cards in hand. 5 in hand. So,
You're just ripping them.
uh-uh. What did I- what did I-
Does he don't feed me this time? I can't remember. I remember my kind of synopsis of this game being like I could have probably prolonged it a little longer than when I did lose, but it was not looking great.
Yeah, Shanks. If I had a 10K and 11K, that would have been very hard to play around. But yeah, 7,000 encounters.
I think it was already at a point here where it was like, I think, I don't know,
13,000.
I think I ended up mentioning it. I think I had like when I played the Gear 5, I had all bricks or something. No, it wasn't this
Maybe
much.
Landfall of 5th. Sorry,
Yeah.
swear.
I was debating 9 gate last turn, maybe. I can't remember. It was the queen the last turn that I was thinking about, but I was like, but if I just leave the Shanks on board, it's just
Oh,
brutal.
2K and 1K.
So
I call this
he,
split. Then life,
he
you can
just
have
had counter.
Shanks. 2K. 3K counter. And
So he's
3K
gonna
counter.
the next time I hit him, he gets a Shanks and he's ripping a Dofi off the top here.
Ooh, another tank off Sophie next turn.
Yeah, top deck another Dofi next turn.
Since I didn't get off that 12K swing with Bonney, I wasn't going to swing with Sophie. I was
Yeah.
gonna leave him up just so you had to take my life and give me cards and hope I got like a Hody to rush you down at the end or something, which I don't think I was getting anytime soon.
Yeah, he wasn't getting to a Hody, but he did have Shanks as his top life and Dofi being then 1 card away. So I probably could. I don't know really. Even if he just played the on board, I played the Queen. Even if he just goes 10K, 11K Dofi. I guess that Dofi wouldn't have been that turn, but like he said, he was going to play a little bit more conservatively had I not been shields down. So I don't know. It's tough. Maybe, like I said, I probably could have made that game a little bit longer, but I was kind of checked out. My wife was ready to have me already too, and I was out of prizing. So I think he probably just had it anyways. Playing, we played well. I mean, not trying to knock anything there, but as we've said on the channel 100 times, this matchup's pretty abysmal. And then that sequencing and the shanks and everything with it's just a pretty tough nail in the coffin. To wrap up here, I am going to rip open the sim real quick and pull up the deck list just to kind of show it at the end here. And it's funny because I was about to say this is probably like the most refined or well-rounded um, RP Luffy build for this set, but I don't know, man. It's tough when you brick up like that and you're kind of trying to push through. I got no ramp in like 3 out of 4 rounds or something like that. But I know I absolutely can't afford to put in a brick as a counter, like a counterless ramp piece. I cannot. Um, what I think I'd want to do is if we go there, and that might just be it. Robin, she's been so good. I just really. I was thinking about making those dragons into a Rayleigh and a 1 jet Gatling, anyways. But I think this might be better. But either way, like I said, I think with these matchup guides that I'm going to start working on, matchups, best of threes, and things like that, I'm going to kind of focus on going into OP09 now. But I think within a few cards of this list is probably the peak of RP Luffy within this set. I think my last 2 treasure cups haven't been the best showing for him specifically. But what I have proven through regional treasure cup is, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I'm 5-1 against Dofies at that level. Yeah, some of them are in the middle round, so you want to say whatever about the pilot or whatever, but I mean, this deck eats Dofi for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and that's supposed to be the terrorist of the meta right now, so that feels pretty good. Um, Lucci's a little bit tougher. Bonnie's very tough, but we're going to talk all about that in the coming weeks. So please like, comment, subscribe. Gear 5 Productions is going to 500 subs this month, and the next month going into '09, and we're going to give away some '09 product to celebrate that. So let's get going, guys. Thanks for your time today. I hope you learned something. Talk to y'all soon.